I'd like to first welcome everybody to the 17th Annual Hall of Fame Dinner celebration. My name is Brian Curtin, graduate of Burlington High School, class of 1968. I will be a master of ceremonies for this evening with help from my assistant, Joe Leone. First thing I'd like to do, obviously, is acknowledge tonight's all about celebrating the elite athletes of Burlington High School, which we're all very proud of. And all of us that went to Burlington High School, grew up in Burlington, are so lucky to have grown up in this town. Excuse me. The school system, excellent school system, everything that we've had, the athletes, the coaches. We've just been so fortunate to have grown up here and been part of the athletic programs that Burlington offers. So tonight's a way of celebrating in those elite athletes that spent all their career at Burlington High School. So welcome to all of you tonight. This is a great evening. I know you're all very happy and to celebrate these athletes. The first thing I'd like to do is to acknowledge the committee, the Hall of Fame committee, because without their work, hard work, this particular night wouldn't be successful. I'd like to personally acknowledge the unselfish work and extra hours of commitment by Paul Sheehan, Deb Thompson, and Joe Leone. They spend numerous hours working behind the scenes to put all the work together for tonight's evening. So first, the committee chairperson is Paul Sheehan. Paul's here. I think there he is. Secretary Karen Hubner, Colandrelli. Karen, thank you. Treasurer is also Paul Sheehan. We have Dr. Eric Conti, which will be saying a few remarks in a few minutes. Mark Sullivan, Sean Hart, our athletic director. Deborah Thompson, I mentioned. Joe Leone, Patrick O'Brien, myself, Bob DiChiera, Susan Turnquist, Joe Levasseur, Coach Lev, Martha Murphy Metzdorf, and Jason Clifford, and Jason's here as well this evening. At this time, I'd like to turn the program over to Joe Leone to begin the, before that, I think I started too quickly here. The next thing is to have welcoming remarks from our school committee people. First order of the agenda is Christine Monaco, the chairman of Burlington School Committee. Christine.
So I'm not the chair, but I'm the longest serving member, so that kind of counts. Now, I'm probably going to get the hook halfway through this, and I hope not, because the best part is at the end. Good evening, everyone. What a wonderful event this is, uniting the past and the present as we recognize some amazing athletes in our long history as a Burlington school family. First, I want to thank the two hockey teams that are being inducted for bringing for bringing excitement to all who went to the various rinks to watch your success. You had great teams and a lot of fun, and I hope your memories last a lifetime. Your success brought immense joy and pride to our school family. One of my first jobs in Burlington was to teach high school students who were homebound, usually for illness or disability. Most of them took health with Mr. Trentini. So I met Jim frequently. He became my friend and my mentor. He had a serious military look, even in shorts. And he was the nicest guy. Jim always talked about his family, his Mary, and their children. Everyone loved him, especially his students and his athletes. We lost Jim and Mary on 9/11. My heart still aches for his family and friends. We miss them. I didn't know Paul Barnes, But since this event is a special dedication to him, I asked my friend Steve Nelson, who I'm looking at right now. Steve would go to Paul's football games at Marshall Simons. Their families were friends. Marshall Simons was the high school back then, and to quote Steve, Paul was strong as an ox, but a gentle giant and a great football player. Steve also said, Paul used to babysit for me and my sisters when our parents went out together. Everyone loved him. I wish I'd known him. Joe Cohane, the son of a legend. Joe, you've got a tough act to follow, but I think you're doing great. I'm told by your sister that the hockey school first started by Joe Sr. and his brother, Ed Sullivan, is now in the capable hands of young Joe and young Ed. You have big shoes to fill. Clearly, athletic prowess runs in the family. Tom Mahoney. Another spectacular athlete is best known, get this, for being the son of Bill, the sometimes usher at St. Malachy's, and Rosemary, his mom. Also as the younger brother of Kevin and Rick, and the older brother of Linda and Andrea. But tonight, Tom is all about you. Congratulations. Oh, I also hear you have a great golf game. Your dad told me. Gina Cabali Sloan. Gina has been an awesome but very humble athlete, according to everyone I talked to, including my daughter who played soccer with her. She won all kinds of awards and never said a word. Gina, players from all of your teams are celebrating you tonight. Congratulations. Going out of order here, for a reason you'll figure out in a minute, Jessica McCarthy Nelson. Among other things, had the good sense to marry Steve Nelson's son, Greg. An awesome athlete, she now works with our young students at Pine Glen as a counselor, and they love her. I have 2 grandkids there, and they love her. Christina Rasso. I'm told was so good at playing capture the flag with the kids in the neighborhood that it was deemed unfair to the team that didn't have her, and they had to get extra players. It seems she was destined to be an outstanding athlete, and she succeeded. Now finally, the out of order part. Joe Sheehan. Joe Sheehan is a very lucky guy because his sister married my son. And the story about Joe, it goes that one day Joel told his Babe Ruth coach that he wanted to try batting lefty. The coach, being a bit of a jokester, said, "Why? You're not even that good righty." Not true, of course, but that was the joke. But Joe was determined, so he went to the plate, batting lefty, and hit the first pitch. He hit it up and out of Simons Park into the lot above and took the mirror clean off his dad's car. That's Joe. Congratulations to all the inductees tonight, and on behalf of the entire school committee, welcome to the Burlington Athletic Hall of Fame.
Next, I'd like to introduce my favorite superintendent, Eric Conti.
Good evening. It's my great honor and privilege to speak to you at this special celebration. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee members and all those who have contributed to this evening's event. Thank you. Tonight we recognize a remarkable group of individuals and teams whose achievements, leadership, and character have left a lasting mark, not only in their chosen fields, but also in the hearts of those who walk the same halls and classrooms they once did. As superintendent, I'm proud to see the legacy of our schools reflected so brightly in each of you. Your accomplishments remind our current students that greatness begins here, with dedication, vision, and a commitment to excellence. On behalf of the entire district, congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame. You continue to inspire us all. Thank you.
One of the most important responsibilities, obviously, in the school system and why the programs, the athletic programs are so successful is that we have a successful athletic director. I'd like to introduce our athletic director, Sean Hart.
Good evening, everyone. I was looking around earlier and I said, I was talking to colleagues at the table, and my first time here, I sat in the room and I didn't know anybody except for Eric and Mark. And this time I look around and I see colleagues, I see parents of students, I see students I literally just graduated last year, I see coaches that I've had now for 11 years, and I've always been able to say that Burlington, we have such longevity in our students that come back to support us, our coaches who want to be here and are part of our kids' lives. And as an athletic director, there's nothing you want to see more than that. So first, I guess not first, but second, I'd like to just thank the Hall of Fame committee for their continued dedication to honoring our athletes and putting together this wonderful event. Their commitment to this work is a true testament to values, dedication, and spirit that defines Burlington. So thank you. Secondly, I'd just like to congratulate all of tonight's inductees. This is a tremendous honor, not only representing both personal and team achievement, but also recognizing your lasting impact on our Red Devil community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now what I'd like to do is introduce my classmate from the class of 1968 and member of this Hall of Fame committee, Joe Leone, which will do the introduction of inductees. Joe.
Dick Verzone, a longtime teacher, coach, athletic director at Burlington High School, and a member of this Hall of Fame, passed away last night. We are forever grateful for his contributions to Burlington High School and Burlington High School athletics. Let's please have a moment of silence for him and for all deceased members of our Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you. Good evening. I am Joe Leone, proud graduate of the Wildwood School, the Union School, and the Center School, and the high school that is now Marshall-Simons. I am also a proud member of the BHS Athletic Hall of Fame, class of 2003. It is my honor to have the opportunity to introduce to you the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame's class of 2025. But before I do, I'd like to make a request. Nominate people you think deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. The only way we can induct someone is if we get a nomination. We know there are deserving people out there, so help us find them. In addition, if you are interested, we need members on the committee. Members on this committee now are from the class of 68, the class of 69, class of 78, 92, and one from 99. So you can see we are in need of some young blood. I'd also like at this time to give a special thanks to Molly and Hope Calandrelli, who were out at the table signing you all in. Thank you. So now let's get down to business. Benefactor and coach, Jim Trentini. Jim Trentini was a beloved teacher and coach at Burlington High. He was tragically killed on 9/11 on his way to New York City. We honor him tonight by inducting him into the BHS Athletic Hall of Fame. The English language does not have enough words to accurately describe Jim Trentini. You can see from the resume some of his accomplishments. I spent 2.5 hours with Coach Lev and Kevin Graham talking about this amazing man. It was my sincere pleasure to have had the opportunity to work with him on the MIA Chemical Health Committee, so I knew firsthand through my own experience what they were talking about. Some of the things they talked about were his ability to connect with every kid. The first word that comes to mind when describing him was caring. He was a great line coach because he was knowledgeable, but more importantly because he cared about the kids and he met them where they were. He helped them become better linemen by teaching them what they needed to know, even if he didn't know their name. Thingy there was close enough. One size did not fit all in Jim's methodology. He was enthusiastic, and his enthusiasm was contagious. Kevin said he was always prepared and took the classroom onto the field and the field into the classroom. Coach Lev said so many things I couldn't put them all in this introduction or we'd be here for another hour. But he did say, Jim Trentini is the greatest person I've ever met. He cared deeply about everyone he met, especially the kids. The kids obviously felt that. In fact, one class for superlatives, for teachers, voted him most concerned. It is my honor to induct Jim Trentini into the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Accepting the award for Jim are his daughters, Paige, Patty, and Pam.
Hello, everybody. One little correction to his story. My parents weren't on their way to New York. They were on their way to my house. I lived in California. My husband and I were going on vacation, leaving my mom and dad with our 3 kids. So they just happened to be crossing over New York. Unfortunately, when the plane was hijacked, that was the direction they went. I am the eldest daughter of Jim Trentini. On behalf of my sisters, Pam and Paige, my brother Jim, and my aunts Patricia, Della, and Bernice, as well as my many cousins, I want to thank you for the privilege of accepting this award in honor of my father being given by Burlington High School, where he taught and coached for many years. Unfortunately, they were both tragically killed on American Airlines Flight 11. It was the first plane that crashed into the Trade Center. Most of you probably never had the privilege to meet my dad. It's been over 24 years since he died. Mr. T, as the kids called him, was an amazing man, not just as a teacher, but as our father, our mentor, and the rock of our family. Just to share a little insight into what kind of a teacher he was, in a student-based survey, which they touched on a little bit, my dad was voted most understanding teacher for 9 consecutive years. After that, the school put a cap on the number of personal superlatives that anybody could achieve. The award was a nice touch for him, but all he ever really wanted to do was help his students in the classroom and in the playing fields. That's what he was really good at. I can't think of a better way to explain this to you than to give you some examples of how my dad molded his students and athletes in their own words. There is a website called legacy.com. They post obituaries from all over the place. And over the years, still to this day, people post on his site. And I'd like to share some of the comments that were made about him by students that felt like he made a difference in their lives. In 2019, a young man wrote, "Thinking of you, Coach. You talk the talk and walk the walk." Another student chimes in, "Dearest Mr. T, it's been 15 years ago today. Where did the time go? Proud to have known you and respected you as one of my most influential teachers at Burlington High School in 1977. May your family find some comfort in knowing what a fine, decent, honest, genteel human being that you were, in loving memory." Another young man chimes in and says, "Mr. Trentini was truly passionate about life and touched each and every person he ever met. I think the number he touched were many more than I ever realized. Great coach, great teacher, great role model, great human being." In 2013, another student writes in, "Thinking of Mr. Trentini today and always. He was a great man and a great teacher. I remember telling our class that we needed to take stock inventory every day of ourselves. He would say, 'I get up, I take a shower, I shave, and I say, Jim, I look great today.'" And he actually did that on many occasions. We lost a great man on 9/11 who will never be forgotten. This is perhaps one of the more touching stories that somebody wrote. "I didn't learn that Mr. and Mrs. Trentini were aboard that fateful flight until I saw their picture on a scoreboard while at Fenway Park watching a ball game with my children. They did an amazing tribute to all of those who had ties to Massachusetts. As all the photos were scrolling across, many lost husbands, wives, sons, daughters, mothers, and fathers, I was taken back by seeing Mr. T there, larger than life, in a tribute to his death. I gasped, took a moment to catch a breath. My kids turned to see me, crying. My 11-year-old son said to me, "Why are you crying?" There were so many answers to this question, but what I simply said was, Mr. T was someone who was very special. He was my teacher. I was a small kid, a late bloomer, and not very athletic at all. I entered high school with not much confidence in my physical strength, where that's rather important as a young man. One day, when confronted with the annual and onerous task of climbing the dreaded rope to the ceiling of the gymnasium, Mr. Trentini, who was my health teacher, but not just happened to be there in the gym that day, said something to me that stuck with me for my entire life. As I stood there at the base of the rope, watching many other kids climb the rope with ease, I told him, I don't want to climb, because I can't. He put his hand on my shoulder And he said, "Kid, it's not that you can't do this, you just think you can't." And I did it. Nike had nothing on Mr. T. We often hear these words these days, but every time I do, I remember them coming from him, especially when confronted with a situation where I'm doubting myself. There are hundreds of other comments from students, colleagues, teachers, friends. I wish I could read them all to you. He was truly just an incredible human being. I wish he was here to accept this award tonight, knowing he would accept it on behalf of all the kids who grew up to be good husbands, fathers, wives, teachers, lawyers, doctors, and in some cases, a few great teachers and coaches. I want to, on behalf of my family, thank you so much for the privilege of remembering his contribution to so many other lives at Burlington High. Thank you.
Before introducing the hockey teams, Deb Thompson would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Terry Romke, Barbara Matos, and Colleen Concession for all their help in rounding up contact information on the team. It's hard to win a state championship. 12 of these men, plus their coaches, did it twice, back to back. However, according to Coach Concession, they were two very different teams that accomplished the same goal in very different ways. We are going to bring the teams up here one at a time. Their captains will speak, and then we'll bring up the coach. So we'll bring up the 2012 team first. The 2012 team had success all season long, losing only 2 games. The second loss, however, may have been their biggest win of the season. The loss came in the play-in game for the Super 8 tournament and put them in the Division I tournament instead of the Super 8. With wins over Austin Prep, Wakefield, and Milton, they were now state champions. It is my pleasure to introduce the captains, Steve Matos and Brett Romke, and the rest of the 2012 state championship hockey team.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brett Romke. It was an honor for me and Steve Matos to be captains of this team, and Trevor Simoneau and Brian Hood to be co-captains of the 2011-2012 Division I State Championship hockey team. It's a tremendous privilege to speak on behalf of the Red Devil hockey team as we are inducted into the Burlington Athletics Hall of Fame class of 2025. The team and I, we want to acknowledge 4 very special people who are no longer with us. Our bus driver, Dottie Yaden, hockey cheer coach, Linda Clement, and team parents, Mike Crocker, and most recently, Sue Diffley. They all played such an important role in the team, and we ask you to keep them in your thoughts and prayers as the night progresses. I want to thank the Hall of Fame Athletic Committee and congratulate the other inductees here tonight, as well as past inductees. I want to start by thanking all the parents. The support you gave us as young boys and young hockey players helped mold us into the men we are today. You were always there for us every step of the way. We were taught the value of hard work and being a part of a team. We were taught that any team we were on, those guys are your brothers, and you do anything you can for them equally. To our siblings, we thank you for being there for us when things weren't going so great, as well as the good times. We want to thank all of our friends that held us accountable. And we want to thank our wives, partners, and fiancés. We appreciate the love and support you give us every day. But to the parents and the families, being adults in our 30s and knowing how hard it is to get out of bed every morning, it's amazing what you guys did for us. Whether it was working longer hours to keep up with the price of the new skate technology, or just getting up out of bed at 5 a.m. on a random Saturday just so your little mite hockey player can go chase the puck around for 45 minutes. Whether it was paying all that saved up money for select hockey and driving 6 hours to Lake Placid just for a weekend hockey tournament and still going to work on Monday. Nothing was taken for granted. We want to thank you all, and God bless you, for letting 23 unhinged adolescents into your home for pasta dinners and general team shenanigans on Tuesday and Friday nights, and always going to the game to cheer loudest for us. Some a little too loud. Mom. I don't know if you've ever sat next to her. It's a nightmare. To the coaches, Coach Raleigh, Coach Yaden, Bob Jr., and Coach Morgan, whether it was the early morning practices with JV Coach Yaden or raving about Frampton Comes Alive with Coach Raleigh, you guys did the little things that made us both men on and off the ice. We want to thank Coach Bob Jr. and Coach Morgan, assistants at the time, keeping us prepared every game day. Coach Raleigh's famous line during games and in between periods were simple but powerful. Win the period. Focus on what's in front of you. Win the moment. These statements are relatable and applicable to just about everything we do every day. Coach Bob, we want to congratulate you for being inducted as a coach into the class of 2023 Burlington High School Hall of Fame. There's a million words to say, but you guided us as young hockey players and young men. For every wind sprint in practice, or every curfew call the night before a game, every action commanded respect and taught us the value of respecting the team and being a part of something that we're proud of. You taught us how to pour our heart and soul into something we valued, we wanted to succeed at. As most of you know, Coach Conceition was the hockey coach, but he was also the English department head. At the end of each season, Coach made us write a 500-word paper to reflect on the season and the goals for next year. I was never good at writing words, and I still aren't. But it was for the team. So I poured my heart and soul into that paper so much that one year he gave a copy to my English teacher at the time. She pulled me aside after class and she asked me, "Why the hell don't you write like this for any of my papers?" Taught me, even if I was good at something, just hard work and determination can pull you through. And we all still believe that to be a core value of ours to this day. So, Coach, thank you again for building the program that you built and everything that you've done for us in general. We wish you a happy retirement and some nice tea times. We promise we don't take any of this for granted. I think spending 4 years here together and the success that we had, moving on to college and joining the workforce, maybe some of us may have forgotten a little bit about what this was and what we built here. Dan Scarnecchia once said, "Losers assemble in small groups and they bitch and complain about things that are going on every day. And winners get together in larger groups and they figure out ways to help the team win." When the year started, that's how Steve and I wanted to shape the team. But in the end, it was all of us who built the team based on accountability, trust, and understanding. There was a mutual respect, and we created an environment where anyone could say things that needed to be said to each other. Everyone has a role to play, and in order for us to win, everyone needed to embrace that role. To quote Herb Brooks, Sometimes you don't need the best players, you just need the right ones. We had a lot of damn good players that year, but also the right ones. Everyone is equal. You win as a team, you lose as a team. When we lost to Central Catholic in the Super 8 play-in game, it was an eye-opener for the team and the first true test of adversity. We only lost one game up to that point, so we didn't really get tested all that much. Our team came together even stronger and beat some very tough opponents in the state tournament with contributions from everyone throughout the lineup. It speaks volumes to the program that Coach Conceition built and his assistant coaches built. And it's a validation for everything we learned up to that point about how to be a successful hockey team. I want to end by encouraging any individual or any kid who may be watching at BCAT at the moment what it means to play public high school hockey. Youth hockey is a bit of a machine these days with a lot of different avenues. Junior leagues, AAA leagues, Catholic schools, ISLs, you name it. The feeling of playing in front of your peers you grew up with your entire life, your school and the community, and seeing them cheer for you wholeheartedly is something beyond comparison. Going to school the next morning after scoring a goal or securing a great win and your friends saying, "Wow, what a great goal, a great win." It's a feeling of great accomplishment, and it's about being part of something that's bigger than you. Being a part of a historical program like BHS, or any high school for that matter, that has had big names come through it before you, and having the opportunity to add your name to that list. I really hope to see more kids playing public hockey in the future, as it's something that's very special to us and special to the community that we all live in. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee, and thank you to my teammates. It's an unbelievable honor. Thank you.
The road to the championship was much different for the 2013 team. They struggled. There were even some doubt as to whether they would make the tournament at all. But they got hot at the right time and made an amazing run on the back of goalie Derek DeCastro, who, according to Coach Conceition, was amazing. It is my honor to introduce the captains, Joe Barati, C.J. Grinnell, and Derek DeCastro, and the rest of the 2013 state champion hockey team.
All right, good evening, everyone. On behalf of our team, I want to say how truly honored we are to be standing here tonight as inductees into the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame. To see our names and our season remembered as part of this school's history is both humbling and incredibly meaningful. When we look back, we don't just remember the wins and the records. We remember the grind of practices, the laughter in the locker room, the nerves before big games, and the pride of wearing that Burlington jersey. What made our team special wasn't just talent, it was the trust, effort, and commitment each player brought on the ice and the bond that we built off it. We wouldn't be here without the people who guided us. To our coaches, Coach C, Coach Raleigh, Coach Yaden, Bobby C. Jr., and Donald Morgan, thank you for pushing us past what we thought were our limits, for holding us accountable, teaching us discipline, and how to battle through adversity and build that championship chemistry. To our families, thank you for the countless rides to practice, the support in the stands no matter the weather, and the encouragement through both the highs and lows. We truly appreciate you all have done throughout our hockey careers to get us to these moments. And to the Hall of Fame committee, we are grateful for recognizing our team's place in Burlington athletics tradition. It's an honor to be celebrated along so many great athletes and programs that came before us. And finally, to my teammates, it was a privilege to share the ice and these memories with you. Being inducted is not just about a championship or a record. It's about a group of people who believed in each other, who sacrificed for each other, and who created something everlasting. Thank you again for this incredible honor. We are proud to forever be a part of Burlington High School's athletic history.
Thank you, Joe. It's kind of nice. We have half of the inductees up here. It's kind of nice to have that. I didn't know that we were developing such great public speakers. Both Brett and Joey did a great job. Joey still owes me a homework from sophomore English. It's really a distinct honor and pleasure to stand here with this team, with both these teams, back-to-back state championships, 2011 and 2013. Winning a state championship is a tremendous accomplishment, but winning two back-to-back is a monumentous achievement. In the words of the ultimate coach of champions, John Wooden, real champions don't chase success. They create it for others. When I think about that quote, I think about these two teams, the 39 or so athletes in those 2 seasons. I have been blessed to coach 64 varsity teams in 3 different sports at Burlington High School. Every year, when we set goals, we never say we want to win a state championship. It's not because it's too difficult. It's because, in my experience, championships happen at the most surprising time. It starts at the beginning of the year. It goes into the middle. When you're thinking about your identity, and that's where most teams fail. Trying to come up with an identity with 22 players to play the same is a real challenge. Only a few get to the end, get to the top, and we did twice. Of course, you need the requisite skills and talent, and we had that. Without mentioning names, we had a very, very atypical goalie standing right next to me. He was atypical because he was smart, and he was kind, and he smiled before every game and after every game. But in the end, he stopped every puck that needed to be stopped. We had a great core of defensemen on both teams. We had older defensemen who were tough and resilient, and we had young defensemen who were skilled and fearless. We had a great defensive team in both those years. Our offensive catalyst was 5'7" and 135 pounds. So many times during those 2 years, we thought he was gone for the season, but he never missed a shift. But other than that, we had a lot of good forwards who scored big goals at different times, who pitched in along the way. The forwards and the defensemen together would kill penalties at 97% and score on the power play at 25%. We were kind of a force on both teams. We had great support personnel on the ice, on the bench, in the locker room. We had wonderful leadership on both teams. We have supported parents all the time, in a school and athletic administration that was all in. We had a spirited community who filled the Tsongas Arena in Lowell and the Boston Garden. And if you want to see an exhibit of that, go to teacher Al McRae's website and see the tape called Sympathy with the Devil. It's an amazing show of community spirit. We had inspiration supplied by Marty Wells and his dad, by hockey parents Jim Bryan and Mike Crocker, who bravely shared their experience, their life experiences with our team so that we could give us some perspective. We had our own bus driver, Dottie. We had a cheering coach in Linda. We miss you both here tonight. We shared a very strong bond in 2 years, and we still have it now. In closing, I would like to thank the members of the committee, especially Deb Thompson and Paul Sheehan, and the parents who got all these guys together tonight. I would like to thank Kevin Graham for nominating these 2 great teams. And I would like to thank the best coaching staff I ever worked with, in Steve, Barry, Bobby, and Donald. And I would like to thank my family, who shared their husband and their dad with another family, a bunch of smelly hockey players who will always be champions and will pay it forward by creating champions in their chosen profession and in their family lives. Thank you very much, and enjoy the evening.
Passed away in 2011, and tonight we honor him posthumously. Barnesy was the leader. He wasn't big, he wasn't fast, but he could do anything. He was an undersized lineman that could throw the football as well as the quarterbacks on the team. And both of us are here tonight, so we can attest to that. He actually got to do that in the infamous suspension game against Andover. Coach Long suspended half the team for curfew violations, including both quarterbacks. Barnesy got to play quarterback, and he did a pretty good job, too. Barnesy was the kind of leader every coach hopes for. He welcomes everyone to the team, he leads by example, and has a natural way of making you want to do stuff even when you don't. Terry Morgan, Hall of Famer from the class of 1967, said, "I think he was such a great leader because he looked like he was 25. Mike Leone, another Hall of Famer from the class of 67, said, "As a running back, when your number was called to run the ball, you hoped it was behind Barnesy." It is my pleasure to welcome into the Burlington Athletic Hall of Fame, Paul Barnes. Accepting the award tonight for Paul is his brother Bob.
Thanks, Joe. Good job. I know there's a lot of speakers here tonight, and I've already been told I need to be brief, or Brian's going to drop that Academy Award music on me, and I ramble on too long. So, and Joe stole some of my thunder with the quarterback story. So anyway, Paul's stats kind of. I know we're honoring some great teams here tonight, and unfortunately, Paul was not part of any great teams. As a matter of fact, he played on a winless football team, which we jokingly referred to later on in life as that perfect season. So anyway, here we go. I actually, when my good friend Paul Sheehan called me to tell me Terry had nominated him and he had been voted in, I said, okay, easy peasy, I got to write an acceptance speech. So, like probably most people, I typed in some bullet points into into IA, and it spit out presto, it spit out a story for me in like a second. But I really wasn't happy with what it came up with. So, Joe got into the whole quarterback thing, and so anyway, Paul was all-league guard 2 years in a row on a winless team, and that just shows Paul had a plan. It was a preposterous, ridiculous plan that all winter he was going to take his brother, me, out in the driveway and throw left-handed. And we started out 10 feet apart, and gradually, in freezing cold temperatures, snowbanks on either side of the driveway. Fortunately, we have a long driveway on 81 Lexington Street. But he gradually moved up to about 40 feet where he could actually throw accurately. And at the end, he was actually snapping off some nasty curveballs. Fortunately, the plan didn't have to take effect because his shoulder healed sufficiently that he was able to play right-handed, and he had an incredible season. He batted .470 his senior year for Burlington High School. So, but that just plays to his grit and his determination. And I want to thank the committee here for nominating him. This is well-deserved and long overdue, and he'd be honored. And in behalf of the whole Barnes family, I want to thank everybody. And, you know, when he played quarterback, he didn't look anything like the quarterbacks that came after him, like Terry Morgan, like Joe Leone, and like Ralph D'Agostino. He was short, he was strong, he was powerful, and there was no quit in the guy. So, again, thank you everybody for listening to this, and thank you for the committee for inducting him. Great honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Joe Cohane graduated before most of you were born. I was unable to talk to any of his coaches, both of which are Hall of Famers, Ed Cahoon and Jim Curtin, because they have passed. His other coach, his dad, received a Fred Ebbett Award from the Mass Baseball Coaches Association, an award given to an outstanding youth baseball coaches and administrators. He also passed recently, and we are very sorry for their loss. He obviously had some great mentors. As you can see, Joe had a very successful high school career in baseball and hockey, being part of 2 Middlesex League champions. He now joins his sister Ellen, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame in the class of 2010. She had this to say about her brother. I remember when the major league recruiters were coming by the house interested in Joe. The whole family was excited for him. When he was drafted by the Cleveland Indians, I remember how proud my father was, not just as his father, but as his coach. We all were, and still are, proud of Joe as an athlete and a person. It is my honor to welcome into the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Joe Cohane.
It's an honor to be here tonight. I have so many people to thank. First, I'd like to thank Sam D'Agostino for nominating me for induction, and to the committee for approving that nomination. Burlington High has a rich tradition of athletic excellence, and to join my sister Ellen and my cousin Kevin Sullivan as a member of the Burlington High Hall of Fame is truly an honor and very humbling. I'm joined tonight by many very special people, including my mother Marilyn, my wife Beth, our 4 children who have blessed us with 10 grandchildren. My 5 siblings, their spouses, and many other family and friends, including my longtime friends from Lantern Lane. Just last month, the 6 of us celebrated our 50th annual Lantern Lane Classic Golf Weekend down in South Carolina. I'd like to thank my parents for giving me the opportunity to play baseball and hockey, and to my many coaches along the way, including Jim Curtin and Ed Cahoon here at Burlington High. Baseball and hockey are not individual sports, they're team sports. And I was very fortunate to be surrounded by so many talented athletes who contributed greatly to my success. Being a part of the 1975 and 1976 Middlesex League Championship hockey and baseball teams is something I still have very fond memories to this day. But most of all, I want to thank my dad. As many of you know, and you just heard, he passed away this year. And while he's not here in person, I was able to tell him about being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I know he's here tonight in spirit. My dad was the greatest coach of all. He taught me how to pitch in our side yard, teaching me that the art of pitching was so much more than throwing a ball as hard as you can. He had this old beat-up baseball glove he used when he played as a kid, and he would use it to catch me. It didn't have hardly any padding, and the web was breaking. As the years went by and I started to throw harder and harder, he kept using that same old glove, and it made me very nervous. Eventually, he went out and bought a left-handed catcher's mitt, and I could finally relax knowing that the glove was not going to break on him. Like my mom, he encouraged me to work hard, do my best, and always try to improve. I mentioned our 4 children are here tonight, and each of them were very good athletes in their own right. Beth and I have so many great memories of watching them grow up and playing sports. I hope my parents felt the same enjoyment watching me and my siblings compete as well. Finally, I'd like to congratulate all the other individual and teams being inducted tonight, and it's an honor to become a member of the class with Mr. Trentini. Thank you all very much.
Gina Cabali Sloan. Gina was a 3-sport athlete, captain of 2 of them, and Middlesex League All-Star in 2 of them, and the Scholar Athlete of the Year her senior year. Her basketball teams were league champions her junior and senior years, and her senior team was undefeated in the Middlesex League. She played for 3 Hall of Fame coaches, Coach Conceition, Coach Thompson, and Coach Levasseur. Coach Conceition said, Gina was a great all-around soccer player. She controlled the middle of the field, her intensity and speed. Coach Lev said, Gina was a great athlete. She was very valuable on the track team because she could run the 400. So she is great for relays, and she could slide up to the 800 or down to the 200. Very versatile, hard-working athlete. It is my pleasure to welcome into the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Gina Cabali Sloan.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. I thought I was going to be the last one tonight to speak, but I guess not. While putting this together, I kept flashing back to those high school presentations where we had to nervously read reports in front of the whole class. Did anyone feel like that tonight? I'm deeply honored and truly humbled to be standing here tonight as an inductee into the Burlington High School Hall of Fame, to be recognized by the community that raised me, shaped me, supported me. It means more than words can fully express. Growing up in Burlington was a great experience. It gave me more than just a place to live. It gave me roots, values, and lifelong friendships. This town has always believed in building strong foundations through its schools, its teams, and above all, through its people. I'm proud to have been a student here, an athlete here, and later raising 2 incredible boys in the same community who went to the same schools and had the same coach. Thank you to all my coaches and teachers who pushed me beyond what I thought was possible. There are too many coaches to mention, but Mr. Conceition is here tonight. I'd like to personally thank him for being such an integral part of my life as well as my 2 boys. You didn't just teach me about sports, you taught me discipline, leadership, and the importance of showing up for others. You've instilled lessons that stayed with me long after the games ended. Sorry. I want to sincerely thank the administration for their ongoing support and leadership over the years. A big thank you to the Hall of Fame committee, Paul, Joe, and Deb, and everyone else who helped organize this incredible evening. To my 2 boys, my boyfriend Steve, and all my friends who came out to celebrate with me tonight, your presence means the world to me. Oops, I can't go to the next page here. A heartfelt thank you to Mike Espeo for nominating me 2 years ago. I truly wouldn't be here tonight without you. Your support for our high school team has meant so much, and I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you to my parents and brother who supported me unconditionally every step of the way. when I was asked to provide photos of myself playing sports back in 1990-91 for the slideshow tonight, I panicked. After all, my parents didn't have cell phones or fancy cameras back then. But then my mom reminded me of a box she had left behind before moving to California. Inside were stacks of newspaper clippings she carefully saved over the years. I couldn't believe how many she had kept. That moment reminded me how just deeply loved I am and how proud my parents have always been of me, just as I am of my two boys today. I'm just glad I can take endless photos now of my kids with my phone. For me, some of the most unforgettable moments came from the time I spent with my teammates. Whether it was on the field, the court, the track, or wherever we trained and competed, those days created a bond that still lives in my heart. I wouldn't be the athlete or the person I am today without my teammates. Together we achieved something incredible. Back-to-back Middlesex League titles and an outstanding 39-1 record. Only lost one game. Some of my favorite memories came from the bus rides to away games. Maybe some of the hockey players can relate to this. Mr. C's motivational letters to get us mentally ready. And of course, the 3-minute mile runs during double sessions, something we never forget. What I admired most about Mr. C was that he just didn't coach from the sidelines, he ran with us. We had to keep up with him. It was hard. He pushed us to be our best by leading by example, staying in incredible shape himself. It's been one of the greatest joys of my life to watch my sons Kobe and Jake grow up here, learning the same values of hard work as I did. Being a scholar athlete at BHS in 1991 was a great honor, but this might beat it. I'm proud to be from Burlington, always have been, always will be. Thank you for this incredible recognition, and congratulations to all the inductees tonight. Thank you.
Thomas Mahoney. Tom told me he wasn't an outstanding athlete in any sport, and yet here he is going into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Why? His answer? Hard work. Tom was a true believer that anyone can hustle. He played in sports where hustling and hard work could overcome skill. Coach Tom Imbriglio said Tom was a ball of energy, and his positive, upbeat attitude led his teammates to work harder. Coach Brian Sullivan had this to say about Tom. Tom had never played lacrosse before he tried out for the team his freshman year in high school. By his senior year, he had become one of the best four-way midfielders in the state. In addition to his offensive, defensive, and transition game, he was the top face-off guy in the league. Coaches from rivals in our leagues would always comment how difficult he was to play against because he was going full speed the whole game. Finally, one of the best traits of Tom was he did all this with a smile on his face the whole time. Congrats, Tom. It is my pleasure to welcome into the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Thomas Mahoney.
Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate the introduction and the kind words. I want to thank all the committee members and everyone here who put together such a wonderful night. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I also want to say congratulations to all my fellow inductees. I had the opportunity to look up the individual and team awards that you all accomplished, and the honor is well done and well deserving. So congratulations to all of you as well. To the Trentini family, I had the pleasure of being a student of Mr. Trentini when I was in high school. And he was a wonderful person to be around. His enthusiasm and his energy was contagious. I think we've already heard this earlier today. My memories of your dad, was him walking around with his coach's shorts, T-shirt, and a hello for anyone in the hallway. He knew everyone in the school. You always felt better after you chatted with your dad. It's a great honor for me to be inducted with Mr. T. So congratulations. I'd also like to thank my family, my brothers, my sisters, and my parents. Growing up, we were a sports-oriented family, and I know anytime I had a game, there was always somebody there. Whether it was my mom, my dad, or one of my brothers, or one of my sisters, you always knew if I looked on the sidelines, looked in the bleachers, there was someone there. And when someone was there, you always wanted to play better, and you always felt better. And that's a lesson I take today with my own kids, my support group we have here. Patrick, Danny, and Charlotte. You know, half the battle is just showing up for your kids. And, you know, it goes a long way. And as you're younger, you don't appreciate that. And you probably shouldn't appreciate it. You just don't realize what is happening. But as you get older, you do start to appreciate those things. So to my siblings, Kevin, Linda, Rick, and Andrea, thank you guys. I always count on someone being there. But to my parents, 5 kids, they're racing between basketball games, hockey games, lacrosse games, baseball, gymnastics, figure skating, and soccer. I don't know how you did it. I've just got 3, and I don't know how you did it. But you did it, and we certainly didn't recognize the sacrifices you made to do it, and thank you. You pushed all of us to be the best we could, and those are lessons that I know I've passed along or tried to pass on to my kids, and I know Kevin, Ricky, Linda, and Andrea passed those lessons along to their own kids, so thank you for all of that. And then lastly, to my family, my wife Heather, the 3 amigos. They really weren't around, obviously, as I was going through all this. And there was a time I did other things other than play golf and walk the dogs. But what I hope they take out of a night like tonight is, Joe had mentioned when he'd called, and I might have been the most shocked person in the world when Paul called. Joe would ask, you know, how would you describe what you did? And Coach Sully, it's great to see you here, and thank you for your kind words. And I know Coach Imbriglio isn't here, but his kind words as well. But it was the one thing I always tried to do. I always just tried to work my hardest. I was never the best player on my team. I was never the best athlete on my team. I never kidded myself. But I always tried to work the hardest. I always wanted to be the best teammate I could be. I wanted to make sure my teammates could rely on me. And if I did that, I felt like I led by example. But to my kids, the lesson I want to teach them is, you just want to work your hardest, whether you're on the soccer field, you're on the basketball court, or in a math competition. You do your best. And if you do your best, you can walk away proud of yourself. And if you're proud of yourself, me and your mom are going to be proud of you guys as well. And then just to wrap it up, you know, words I never thought I would ever speak. I'm proud to be part of the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Jessica McCarthy Nelson. Jessica was an amazing athlete for Burlington High School. She was a league all-star, a Lowell Sun all-star, and second in the state in the 200. But that is not what made her outstanding, according to Coach Lev. He could not say enough good things about her character, her work ethic, and her leadership. He said, "She was born to run and she was born to lead." She was outstanding at both, as evidenced by her high school athletic career and her coaching career. She went on to run at the University of Maine and is presently the Burlington High School cross-country coach and track coach. It is my honor to present fellow Black Bear to the BHS Athletic Hall of Fame, Jessica McCarthy Nelson.
Hi, everybody. I am so very honored to be here tonight at the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The thought of standing here tonight as a Hall of Fame inductee is something that never crossed my mind when I was in high school. Back then, I was just trying to balance practices, games, friendships, and homework. So to be celebrated among so many talented athletes and coaches tonight is really special, so thank you. When I sat down to write this speech, I said to myself, okay, Jess, just start with what Burlington athletics means to you. And in doing so, I came to the realization that Burlington sports is actually my whole personality. My daily wardrobe will always consist of at least one piece of BHS athletics gear. I live in Burlington currently. I coach 3 seasons of girls cross country and track and field. My husband, Greg, is the coach of Burlington's middle school cross country team as well as the BHS boys track and field teams, and was inducted into the BHS Athletic Hall of Fame in 2018. My sister, Kelly, is the BHS varsity softball head coach. Her husband, Chris, my brother-in-law, is the BHS varsity baseball head coach. And even my friends here tonight are results of Burlington athletics. I love Burlington. This personality of mine undoubtedly came to be when I started high school athletics. Playing sports made me feel successful, it challenged me, it made me always strive to be better, it taught me the importance of commitment, leadership, and perseverance, and I loved being a part of the soccer and softball teams. When I was finally convinced to give track and field a try because it wasn't just running, I truly went all in on it. Coach Lev and Coach Merlino, together with their meticulous workouts, constant motivation, and the way they believed in our team, hooked me. Lev would sometimes put me in some of my not-so-favorite events. I had to run the Open 4, sometimes the 8, the 6, anything longer than 200. But he put me in there because he believed in me, and that taught me the importance of contributing to the team over being an individual. After the meet was over, I was always grateful for that push from him. Being part of a winning team, going undefeated in races, placing at state meets, and breaking 6 school records gave me the feeling of accomplishment, confidence, and competitiveness. My high school athletics success could not have been possible without the support of my dad, Bobby. No one reminded me more that I was a student athlete more than my dad did. Which I appreciate now as an adult, and I did not appreciate that when I was in high school. He knew what participating in sports meant to me and reminded me that you have to have the grades to play. He always kept me on track in school, pun intended, and he would be at every single track meet from start to finish, whether it was down the street in Woburn or in Roxbury at the Reggie Lewis or all the way in Westfield for all states. High school track led me to my dream of running track and field at the Division I level. The drive to succeed and continue to improve on and off the track only grew during my 4 years at the University of Maine. Go Black Bears, right? A school which I absolutely loved. One of my proudest moments was becoming Division I New England heptathlon champion. Now, when the school day ends at Pine Glen, I head up the street to BHS to coach the girls and hope to instill the same values and love of sports in them that I learned at their age. So thank you to my friends and my family who came here to celebrate with me, and congrats to all the other inductees tonight, and go Red Devils. Thank you.
Our next inductee, Christina Rasso. Christina was a 3-sport starter, earning 11 varsity letters. She was a 3-sport captain, demonstrating her amazing leadership qualities. In volleyball, she was team's MVP 4 times and the league MVP as a senior. And that's just what she did when not playing softball. ESPN named her the starting shortstop in Massachusetts at the beginning of her senior year. She led 3 teams to Middlesex League championships, and in 2011, they came as close as you can come to a state championship, losing 4-3 in extra innings. Coach Kristen Farrell had this to say about her. She would lead by example. She was that kind of kid. She set the tone by working hard and always being focused. She was your dream player. Welcome to the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Christina Rasso.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Joe, for the great introduction. First off, I just want to say what an incredible honor this is. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for including me in this year's class. To be recognized alongside so many amazing athletes and coaches from Burlington, people who have meant so much to this community, is really special. When I think back to my time at Burlington High School from 2008 to 2012, I mostly just remember how much I loved playing sports here. The long practices, the bus rides, the big games, and especially the teammates who made it all so much fun. As Joe mentioned, I played volleyball, basketball, and softball, and I was lucky enough to play varsity for 11 out of 12 seasons and to serve as captain in all 3 sports my senior year. There were some great moments, like hitting the game-winning RBI that sent our team to the state finals my junior year. Thank you. And leading the volleyball team to the state tournament for the very first time in program history during my senior year. But more than the accomplishments, it was the lessons I learned and relationships I built that really stuck. I've always been naturally athletic, even from a young age. Perhaps as a testament to that, I remember at field day in 6th grade, one of my teachers said that I was the most buff kid in the grade. Needless to say, I had to go home and ask my mom what buff meant. Although I had good genes to thank for the athleticism, I wasn't as gifted in terms of height. As a setter, point guard, and shortstop, I was on the smaller side, and I had a coach tell me once that because of that, I couldn't just be as good as everyone else, I had to be better. I already had plenty of internal motivation, but this really stuck with me. I worked hard, putting in countless hours outside of team practices. My dad hit me ground balls at Marvin Field on Easter morning. My mom served volleyballs to me in the backyard, and I spent plenty of evenings shooting free throws at the neighbor's hoop in the street. That drive carried me all the way to Tufts University, where I got to keep playing softball, and where I was lucky enough to win 3 national championships. I definitely wouldn't be here without the people who supported me. Mom, Dad, and Alyssa, thank you for all the car rides, the endless cheering, and the patience with all the dirt and gear I brought home. And thank you to my high school coaches, Coach Crowley, Coach Coppola, and Coach Farrell, who taught me so much more than just the games themselves. I still remember Coach Farrell telling me, you know, there is such a thing as trying too hard. She was right, and that reminder has helped me more times than I can count. I know this is an athletic event, but I also want to take a moment to recognize how grateful I am that Burlington High valued academics just as much as athletics. I cared deeply about excelling in both, and I was fortunate to have teachers who were passionate about their subjects and who pushed me to aim higher. That environment challenged me to do my best in the classroom and prepared me incredibly well for college and everything that's followed. But what really stands out to me looking back is the Burlington community, the coaches, the teammates, and the families who supported me and every BHS team I've been a part of. Many of those people are in this room tonight, including my very first softball coach, shout out Bob McCarthy. It's also especially meaningful to see so many of the women I played with now coaching the next generation of Burlington athletes. Kelly, Jess, whole McCarthy family, very inspirational. That's the kind of legacy that makes this town so special. Thank you again to everyone who's been a part of my journey. I'm so proud to be a part of Burlington Athletics and so grateful to call this community home. Thank you.
And last on the docket tonight, Joseph Thomas Sheehan. I had to use a smaller font. There were more things that I probably could have put in there, but there's just no way to fit them. His credentials speak for themselves, and I probably should have used 2 pages for all of his awards. An incredible athlete, but what does not show up on the list of honors is his perseverance. According to Coach Pappas, Joe played his whole senior year with back pain, but he never missed a game. Coach said he was determined and refused to come out of games. When asked to describe Joe, he said he had a positive attitude, a strong leader on and off the court, a team player, a competitor and finest athlete in his 45 years of coaching. Another outstanding addition to the Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame, Joe Sheehan.
Congratulations to all the other great athletes, teams here tonight. It's truly an honor to be inducted with you all. When Paul Sheehan, no relation whatsoever, first called me to congratulate me, he told me to prepare a speech, and I thought he was joking. And then I talked to Joe Leone 2-3 weeks ago, and I realized they were for real. So the last few weeks I spent reminiscing, thinking, what can I talk about? How do I express my gratitude? And I settled on maybe just sharing a couple of stories from my experience in 4 years at Burlington High. To my late coach, Jim Curtin, thank you for believing in me and giving me a shot. You pulled me out of math class one winter morning before the season and you said, I've seen you on the basketball court. I think you could play shortstop. From then on, I played shortstop all through high school and college. I'm sure if he had run into Coach Pappas beforehand, Coach Pappas would have said, are we talking about the right kid? But another impactful person that supported me throughout my career at Burlington was Coach Beaumont. He was an honors physics teacher, so we didn't cross paths much on the academic side. But thank you for giving me a shot. And a funny story about him is tryouts freshman year was, I think, like 6:30 in the morning. We hadn't even started school yet. So my cousin Ryan picked me up. We went to tryouts, and as a freshman, you tee off first, and you go out with some of the older seniors, captains. And so my first shot up on the tee, I don't know if anybody knows Billerica Country Club, we play the back nine, the 10th hole. I pulled out an iron, and I hit my first shot layup, and it landed, just luckily enough, on the cart path, and it rolled on the other side, avoiding the out of bounds. I hit my next shot to the green, lucked out, hit a birdie putt, went on to shoot 52 that day. After the round, Coach Beaumont said, you know, it's great to see a freshman with that type of golf IQ and wisdom, and I'm going to look forward to having you on the team this year. As soon as I went home, my dad took me to the store. We bought a driver. I didn't have the guts to tell Coach I didn't have a driver with me that day. And to Coach Pappas, thank you for your support throughout the years. You welcomed me to the program when I was in 7th grade as a water boy. You employed me during the summer months against your better judgment. You gave me letters of recommendation, and you taught me life lessons that go far beyond the basketball court, and I'm truly grateful for that. And one of the very special high school memories that I will treasure forever was my junior year. I don't know if you remember this, Coach, but we were on the cusp of making the tournament. We needed to win 1 or 2 games against the Woburns, the Watertowns, Lexington, or Belmont. And it was at Belmont. My papa had just passed away. I left his wake, and I went on to score 28 points. We beat Belmont, and that was the win that gave us the nudge to get into the tournament. And that was a very special game. I remember walking off, you giving me a hug and saying that somebody was watching me from above that night. And that truly summed up maybe my entire career at Burlington and just how awesome the support, the community, and the love was throughout all 3 sports, all 4 years. And before I end tonight, I will say to my lovely family, who was very, very happy and honored with me, your support over the years has meant everything. The early mornings, the drives to Danvers for baseball at 5:30, everything. You never missed a game or a practice. And from the bottom of my heart, I truly am grateful and thankful. And thank you for celebrating tonight with me.
The class of 2025, Burlington High School Athletic Hall of Fame. I'm going to take this opportunity to say a couple of things from my heart. Burlington really is a very special community. I grew up here, moved here in 1953, met some fabulous people along the way, happened to be very good friends with Coach Lev my whole life, and this place is special. No matter how big the town gets, with the malls and the Third Avenues and the restaurants, the core of Burlington will always be the athletic program and the families that live here. Take pride in this beautiful community. That's me. So you're actually going to hold your applause. Jason Clifford, stand up, please. Do it, yeah. Karen Hubner-Calandrelli. Susan Turnquist. Deb Thompson. On the 1969 varsity baseball team, Kevin Graham and Paul Sheehan. Kevin Field. Ellen Cohane. Terry Morgan. My older brother, Mike. Greg Nelson. Ralph D'Agostino. Bob Concession. Howie Strahan. Some of these people is past their bedtime. Kevin Sullivan. Jeff Coles. Ed Gillis, the founder of this Athletic Hall of Fame. Barry Yaden. Coach Lev. Applause.
Great job, Joe. Joe spent hours interviewing all the athletes and coaches and family, and he did a fabulous job presenting all the criteria and important facts about every athlete that was recognized tonight. So great job, Joe.